Carlos Bosch, Carlos. Carlos is Catalan way of saying Carlos. I'm director of September's, which is a feature documentary. My previous one was called Balseros and was also presented here in Miami Film Festival.
I read the description in the catalog, and it sounds like a very interesting film. Could you give us just a kind of a capsule description about the film?
Well, I don't know what the people will say because it's really the world premiere. But I intend to say that this is a documentary about love, but love that happens within the walls of a prison. So some other people could say that this is a film about prison, but through the angle of love.
Music figures very strongly in this as almost a kind of a way of communicating love. You want to talk about the role of music in the film?
Well, my point of view is that if you tell a story which is universal, you cannot do a casting, you cannot choose the characters. So when you talk about love or you talk about a lack of freedom, you cannot choose your characters. So my intention was to have the characters be chosen by themselves. What I did was to attend the annual karaoke competition that happens in one of the jails in Madrid. So my characters are the 10 contendants of last year.
So what would you say, I mean, I'm sure there are many challenges, but what can you tell us about what was one of the major challenges in bringing this story to the screen?
Well, since my previous film was very much about people who had to overcome external problems, external odds, external obstacles, this is a story about internal feelings, which is very much trying to dig into the characters and try to get from them something which almost belongs to science fiction, which is love. So obviously every fiction movie, whatever, gives you some flashes about love. But what about a documentary? So is it possible to do a documentary about love? Well, it was probably the biggest challenge.
You know, I usually think of a film as a journey certainly for the audience, but also for the filmmaker. So by the end of the film, what were some of the things inside you that changed or that you observed in yourself or learned about the world through the process of making the film?
Well, I really don't want to push the audience because it's not fair. That's not something we are supposed to do, the filmmakers. But I would be very glad if they get to the same conclusions that I did, which is that whoever who's in jail, they could be me, they could be you, they could be whoever, because you never know what will happen to you. And also because I was born in a rich family in Barcelona. But what about those who were born in the middle of the jungle in Bolivia and maybe they had to get into becoming someone bringing drugs to Spain just to make the family survive? So my characters, they are not worse people than me. They made more mistakes. So my conclusion was that I love that people because for me they are human beings. And again, it could be me, or it could be one of my friends.